Good morning, Baguio. My name is Drew. I am a first-year BA Communication student here at UC, and you are listening to Cool 97.5 FM. And, this morning we're going to do something a little different. We're not here to give you a report, or we're not here to do a formal interview per se. We are here because yesterday, my buddy and I, RA here, walked into a movie theater, and we watched something that hit both of us hard, actually. And we spent the next few hours talking about it. And, we figured out, why not just let that conversation happen on air? And we're going to call this the icon, the legend, and the songs that stay, Michael Jackson. Because the A side is what everyone is already knows, but side B, the deeper cuts, the stuff that doesn't get the big push, that's where things actually get interesting. And before anything, I need to give a big shout out to Mr. G, the cool 97.5 actor, DJ, and our very own professor here at UC. Sir, the very fact that you extended this to us first-year students who haven't even taken radio production yet, that genuinely means a lot to both RA and I promise we won't embarrass you, I hope.
So, we're going to do our best.
Okay, we're going to do our very best. So, with me this morning is one of my closest friends since stepping foot into UC. He is also a fellow guitarist, a vocalist, and also a first-year BA Com student, and our first-year representative at Comunicare, our departmental organization. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rico Angelo Cipriano. Good morning,
Hello.
RA. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Drew. I'm good. How are you?
I'm feeling really good right now. Having just watched that movie, it's a whole experience. And,
oh, man.
I just want to be fully transparent with our listeners. this guy bought me a movie ticket yesterday as a belated birthday gift to me.
Yeah, exactly.
My birthday was April 28, and his gift was, tada, let's watch Michael.
Yeah, so
2026.
Let's give him a little,
yes, sir.
Let's give Drew a little round of applause.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you.
Belated happy
and
birthday.
Also... Yes, thank you, man. And also, I brought my Lola along with us. She couldn't remember the last time that she went to a modern cinema. So the row was me, Ari, and my Lola in a Michael Jackson movie. And that alone was already a beautiful evening. And then the movie started and, okay, Michael 2026, directed by Antoine Fuqua. And I've actually watched a little bit of his stuff before, Have you watched The Equalizer, RA? In some, like Denzel Washington, most of his stuff?
No, I haven't. But I know that film. Yeah, with, as you said, Denzel.
Denzel, yes.
I've also known a couple of his films before. Specifically, if I'm not mistaken, he made that film Training Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Training Day, yes. I forgot who starred in that.
Yeah, I think it was Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington.
Ethan Hawke? I see.
I think. I
Basically
can't
one
remember.
of the GOATs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. True. But, I think for you and me, this guy is sort of a new figure in the cinema, thing. Like, not really as much discussed as Steven Spielberg or stuff like that is.
Is Michael the first film you watched that's like by Antoine?
I've watched The Equalizer a long time ago, and I don't really remember much from it. So this is basically our introduction both to Antoine Fuqua's works, and Michael Jackson, played by his actual nephew Jafar Jackson in his film debut, by the way.
My goodness.
The cover, right. His first film debut, and the movie covers MJ's life from the Jackson 5 all the way back in the 1960s and all the way to the Bad Tour, isn't it, in 1988?
Yeah.
And I guess my first question to you, RA, is what is the very first word that comes to mind after watching that film?
Man. a lot of words to be honest. But
Gotta stew in that, man.
if
Gotta pick
I
one.
had to, yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say iconic. You know, just
Iconic.
yeah, man, just
Hmm.
seeing Michael like because when I think about it, you know, when I watch it, I don't know about you, but when I watched it,
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, as a lot of the audience have said about it, Jafar
Mhm.
really embodies Michael, and it's like at times you actually
Yes,
see
right.
Michael. That's what like I'm
Yeah.
saying it like Michael, you know, like not Jafar Jackson. I mean Michael. Like I really felt like I was watching Michael.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
If I had to pick one word, I'd choose iconic. Yeah.
Iconic. Just that whole silhouette of his, an
Mhm.
ethos of it. Just Michael himself. For me, wow, I really didn't think of this beforehand. Have I?
Hey,
Lots of
it
words to
works. It
stew
works.
into. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
see.
yeah.
If I had to pick one, if you had to put a gun to my head and force me,
You have to pick
mine
one.
would
Yeah.
be inevitable, man.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you why.
Ooh.
There's a scene early on, young Michael,
Yeah, yeah,
being
yeah.
beaten by Joe,
Yeah.
the
Oh my goodness.
father, the abusive father. Oh my gosh, man.
Woo. BTA. Oh my goodness. Oh
Being
my goodness.
beaten and,
Mm-hmm.
just being pushed past what any child should have to endure.
Yeah.
And, even in that darkness, and I'm sure you can already feel it, man. You can feel that
Hmm.
this kid is already going somewhere that not a lot of people are going or nobody else is going. You
Exactly.
can already feel
Exactly.
it, right? And
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
because, the movie tells you, it's because you
Hmm.
can already see it. That little
Yeah.
boy, just at that
Yeah.
point. And,
It's very as they say, show don't tell, right? Very much
right?
like show don't tell.
Yes, as our professors really like to say,
Mm-hmm.
it's really much a very strong case of show don't tell. I
Exactly.
feel like that's such a masterpiece, and the feeling of watching someone on a track that they were always meant to be on.
Yeah. Yeah,
That for
yeah,
me
yeah,
is
yeah.
what really means here. The
Yeah, yeah.
tragedy and the genius, both
Mm.
inevitable, and you can't
Yeah.
have one without the other kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Now,
that's why like for me
yeah,
when you said inevitable, I was like, "Oh wow, that's actually a very good way of like putting not just
exactly, man.
Michael, but like the Jackson family, you know? Like
Exactly,
as you
yeah,
mentioned Joseph Jackson, his dad and all his
yeah.
brothers, Jermaine, Tito, which is it's funny. His one of his brothers is literally named Tito,
Tito.
which in the
Yes,
Philippines
Tito.
it means uncle. It means
Exactly.
uncle. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, but yeah, you know when you
Kind of
pointed
ironic
it
in a
out,
way.
inevitable, perfect.
Yeah, man.
First impression, first word. Yeah.
Yeah, that just
So
pops into mind. And also
yeah,
iconic,
yeah,
man. Just those two,
yeah,
you can have, yeah, you kind of one without the other, man. And also,
exactly.
here's when it gets complicated, man, because critics, and there are a lot
Mm,
of critics, man, they have been pretty harsh on this film. I think in Rotten Tomatoes, it got about 37% with the
yeah.
critics. One reviewer like called it a filmed playlist in search of a story. I don't know if you felt that way, but the criticism, I think we could kind of like sum it up as basically
Yeah.
is that the film is quote unquote sanitized
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it ends in 1988, right
Hmm.
before the allegations against him, and it never addresses them. And I
Yeah.
want to ask you straight, all right, do biopics like this one, do
Hmm.
they owe us the full messy truth, or is it okay for a film to choose what it celebrates?
Hmm. I I I feel it depends. It depends on the
Yeah,
artist, and it depends on the direction that
yeah,
the director wants to put into perspective the artist. You know, say
exactly. Hmm.
in this movie, you know, as a lot of the critics say, and I can see where they're coming from. I can see how they're
Hmm.
saying, you know, it's very sanitized. It's not. It doesn't dive into Michael the man. It
Exactly, the
more
human.
focuses. Yeah, it focuses
Hmm.
more on the icon. But
Exactly.
you know, when I watched it, mild spoiler alert. But you know, they show a lot of scenes with him and his mom. not just his
Right.
mom, but his dad as well. You get to see what kind of person Michael was when it came to his
Yes.
parents, to his mom and his dad. So when I think about how the critics are saying it doesn't dive into Michael, the
Yeah.
man, I feel like it's kind of it shows that they didn't really feel the movie, right? Because
Yeah.
there's you can watch films in two different ways. You can watch it as a critic, and you can watch it
Yes.
as
An
someone who loves.
audience.
Exactly, exactly, and that's why I feel there's a big
You say
shift or
disconnect.
big
Yeah.
between the critics and the audience, because the audience,
Yes.
they see, they feel, they don't just see, they feel the movie. the
Right.
the the
Experience it.
critics,
Yeah. Take it all in.
exactly,
Right
they
in
take it all in,
the
they take it to
cinema.
the
Yeah.
soul. So yeah, what about you, man? What do you think about that divide between them?
I think for me, here's where I land.
Mm,
And Ra and I actually talked about this after the film. We were decompressing,
yeah,
just the two of us.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
in a kind of way, we get the critics. We genuinely do. And I think that there's an alternate version of the film that could have been a little bit braver. Even if we felt it, the stopping of the story in 1988, the sort of triumphant, it was a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
jarring,
yeah.
It, like,
And
for
now,
me, it's like,
oh, yeah,
it almost
yeah,
ends mid-sentence, man. Like,
yeah,
did
yeah,
you
yeah,
also feel that way? Yeah.
yeah,
You get this big, bad tour, Wembley
yeah.
Stadium, triumphant ending, and then a
It just
title card that says, this story
the
continues.
story continues. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, it does, but not in the way that you're implying, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll just add to that. I looked it up. I did some research on it. Apparently, the original ending, it would
Ooh,
have
original.
delved more into
Nitty
the
gritty.
drama. Yeah, the the side of Michael that we didn't get to see in the
No,
film.
yeah, I didn't get to
'Cause,
see. Yeah.
yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, in that article, they said
Mm.
that there was a clause. There was like a clause where
Ooh.
they couldn't talk about, or they couldn't show.
Certain
I'm not sure.
topics. Yeah.
Yeah, a certain topic.
Because I'm sure, like
Um,
the Jackson
yeah,
family is still in the state, and they've got a lot of
yeah,
say in what to put in certain
yeah,
depictions
exactly.
of Michael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now that you bring that up, the fact that Jermaine and Tito, they were executive producers in the film. Of course, they
Yeah,
would
right.
wanna they would wanna show the good side,
Yeah,
as
the good side, yeah.
you could
Which
say.
is what a lot
Yeah.
of people, yeah, really know Michael for, right?
Exactly.
Just the
Exactly.
music itself also, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
making that the focus rather than the drama or, more of the pathos element, right?
or
And also
like even
here's
his
like
like.
the
Yeah, yeah.
continue, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like I noticed they didn't show any of his romantic relationships, and
Right? That's yeah, that's
yeah,
like I was a little bit surprised by that.
yeah. That's why like
Yeah.
immediately I was like, oh, okay, I see where they're coming from. I see where they're coming from. The
Mm,
critics, when they're
exactly.
saying they didn't show that other side of Michael
That
that much.
side, the dark side of Michael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And also there's like this other side of it because one critic in the Root, I've read a little bit about this beforehand, actually pushed back on the pylon and made the point that nobody gave biopics of Elvis or Elton John, artists with their own complicated histories, that same level of scrutiny. Have you noticed that? Elvis's,
Yeah.
movie and Elton John, they didn't really have that kind of scrutiny levied against them. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a fair counterpoint because the film is clearly a part one.
Yeah.
If you really felt it, it's really MJ's origin story. And
Yeah.
it's like an origin story. As a popcorn movie, which genuinely what it is, it's really, really good. And
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like, I don't know about you, but, we left that theater full,
Yeah.
My Lola left that theater smiling, man. And, that's got to count for something.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? The entire and like this just shows how much the actors and the director Antoine Fuqua,
Yes.
how much they were able to capture that sense of being with Michael.
Right.
Being, they showed a lot of Quincy Jones, his
Quincy
producer.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
I forgot his name, but his bodyguard, being
Yes.
like a surrogate father to him, along with
Like
Quincy
sort of
Jones.
like the guy
Yeah,
from Whiplash, Miles Teller.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
exactly.
that
Miles
guy,
Teller as
yeah,
well.
Miles Teller.
Yeah,
Man, what a good
that's why it
performance.
was really, it was nice that the audience
Yeah.
didn't just see Michael alone. Yeah, we got to see portions of that, but we got to see the people who helped Michael become
Yeah.
that that
What
icon,
he is, yeah, that icon.
Exactly. Michael Jackson. Yeah, yeah.
What built the guy, what really propelled him up in that big stage. And I think
Oh,
one of the biggest reasons this film works, man, is Jafar. Ari, this is the part that I want to talk about because we were both
yes.
reacting to this in the cinema,
Yeah.
if you recall. That
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
Jafar opened his mouth for the first time as adult MJ.
My
name is
goodness.
Michael. You get this
Yeah.
shift from little old baby Michael, being
Yeah,
all
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
he's still
yeah.
the same growing up. Man, that made us chuckle, man.
Oh
During the
man.
scene. Yeah.
That was like, whoa. Like, is that
Yeah.
really Michael? Because he
And
sounds
like it's exactly like Michael, bro. It's uncanny.
yeah.
Like
Like-
Jafar nails the look, the voice, the friggin' electrostatic moves. And, the steel that made Michael who he was. And, I agree with that completely. But it's like, I think, and that's something that I think I've read from an interview, in with Variety or something. But, what any review couldn't prepare you for is what it's like to sit in a dark theater and, just watch someone who is, physically, genetically part of the same bloodline as MJ and just seeing that transfer. Wow. I gotta say, man, it was surreal. We were
My
just
goodness.
laughing in the theater.
Yeah, like
right?
legit. Like, oh my, like I I can't put into words how much Jafar really, as much as people are gonna repeat it, he really embodied MJ and Michael
Yes, he
Jackson's
did.
ghost. Like I saw one of the comments in one of the review articles. They said that it felt like as they were watching it, they felt like the ghost of Michael.
The ghost. That's a really good way to put it.
held Jafar's shoulders and said, "Don't worry, I got you." And that
Exactly,
wow.
man.
Like,
Also, when his character, started getting all the cosmetic surgeries and, slowly starts to look more and more like MJ, you were like, oh man, he's really becoming MJ.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
transformation was wild to watch in real time. And also, I'll say this as someone, who cares a lot about audio. And, I'm the audio guy, the token audio guy in the school. And that mix in the theater was exceptional, man. I don't know if you noticed it, but the sounds in the back, the people clapping and stuff.
It was surround sound.
Yes, the surround sound, man. I think the sound design team knocked it out of the park. And I think that's also part of why audiences are giving it a 90+% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, man.
Yeah.
Those are the audience. While critics rate it 30%. The experience
high 30s.
yeah,
high 30s.
30s or something like that. It's really low for the critics. But, I guess that's why it is. The experience of watching a film in a cinema with that sound, it's almost unfair to just reduce it all to just, film criticism.
Yeah. Honestly,
and also, right? And also, I need to go on a small tangent here because this is something I wish that the film, would have explored more. And I think you might share this too. And the film gives a lot of love to the hits, Billie Jean, Theater, Beat It, and beautifully to some of the deeper cuts like Human Nature and, Wanna Be Starting Something, like giving all those love as well. And, as a fellow music nerd, the fact that they didn't just do the top 40 playlist, that means something to us, And also, something was kind of missing if you felt this too. there was no much of Quincy Jones or even, Eddie Van Halen. Where is he? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they played Beat It, and they had a whole section for Beat It.
Yeah, with
and I was like,
that solo, right?
yeah, are they gonna
I
show
think is Eddie gonna be here?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was really Eddie who made it from the get go, but from what I know, like stock knowledge, and from what I've seen, apparently it
Yeah.
was
From
Eddie Van
trivia.
Halen who did that
That
iconic
solo.
solo for
It's really iconic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like still
Oh my
another
goodness.
solo that so much guitarists, try to learn today. And
Exactly.
tapping
Exactly.
moves. And that story alone, and also like Toto, right? The guys who made Africa, Rosanna, all that stuff.
Yeah,
They were also the musicians in Thriller. They were the guys who played all of the instruments also, and they weren't there in the movie. And
There you go.
that story alone, like with Eddie Van Halen, I wish they would have put his scene where he did it as a favor to Quincy. He did it for free. He did not get any. Yeah, he didn't get paid for that. He did that solo for free. And I think those stories alone is a whole scene, and none of it made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
For
it
me,
just
that's not-
shows.
Yeah.
It just shows that there really could have been more, because 2 hours, if I remember it right, it's about 2 hours and 7 minutes. Like,
It is, yes, exactly.
When you think about it outside of, like, literally the cinema, you think, that's a long runtime. But then you sit down and you watch it, you feel that was already 2 hours. That was 2 hours already. Like, wow.
Yeah, that was 2 hours. 2 hours just passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only checked my watch like 2 times, and it's just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
when it was
also,
about to finish, too.
yeah. I wish they also would have included "We Are the World." Yeah, that list of so many artists, because it doesn't make sense. Because I think that song was released in like 1985. It could have been easily been there. Whole act maybe, with some of the most iconic musicians at that time. Like, don't even get me started on who is in "We Are the World."
Yeah.
And I think they could have really expanded on that, because from my knowledge, Michael actually wrote most of the song in one night. He came out of the session with drums, piano, strings, and the chorus already completed. And even the guy who he was with, Lionel Richie, he was surprised by how fast it all came together. And like, that's not a footnote. Like, the movie could have, that's the thesis of who Michael Jackson is as an artist, in my opinion. And the film just leaves it out entirely. So yeah, as a fellow music nerd, I walked out a little hungry, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess, that's what a part 2 is for. I hope,
Exactly.
they get to put it in there.
You hit the nail on the head. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. That's a part 2. That's
Yeah, right?
That's why there's a part 2 for a reason. Exactly.
His story continues. All right. Now, moving on to question 3. Here's, a stat that I just cannot get over. After the film dropped, within the first week, Michael Jackson's streaming catalog, not just in Spotify, it doubled. And it doubled in 2016. Yeah. 15 years after he passed. Now, all right, what does that say to you? Is the reason why it doubled is because of how good the music is, or does that say something about us, as listeners?
You know what? I know it's not a very direct answer, like very yes or no kind of answer, but I feel like it's really a mix of both. So the listeners now, we have these artists. For example, the biggest example, the big elephant in the room, The Weeknd. He is the closest.
Yes.
In my opinion, he is the closest thing, along with Bruno Mars, the closest thing to Michael Jackson. So when we listen to Michael, it's like, in a way, we there's that that sense of familiarity, because
There it
not
is.
only do we have artists like The Weeknd, like Bruno Mars, who capture that lightning in a bottle kind of, that essence of
Exactly, yeah, the
Michael.
essence of who they
So
are.
when we listen to his music, we're like, that's kind of that's something that I
Kind of
feel like I've
similar.
heard
Yeah.
before, right?
Mm.
So even though we are not the main generation that listened to Michael, when we do get that opportunity, we always get that feeling that we did listen to it. And
Yeah.
to answer that part, where is it the song or is it the listener?
Yeah.
I feel Michael's songs
Hmm.
are timeless, completely timeless. Not just the big hits, Billie Jean, Thriller,
Yeah.
Smooth Criminal, Bad. Uh, uh, did I bring up Thriller?
Oh my
Almost all of
gosh.
his
Yeah.
almost all of his songs are massive hits, but not just them. As you mentioned earlier
His
a while ago,
whole
the
catalog.
side
Yeah, pretty much.
the
The
side
side
tracks.
B. Yeah.
Yeah, the side beats.
Hmm.
Girl is Mine, Human Nature. Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh. Yeah.
Like
We could go all night about this. Right?
yeah, we really can. So, it's a mix of the
Both.
way that the song is made, the
Hmm.
production, the vocals from Michael,
Yeah.
but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's also our willingness, our generation's willingness to be open to listen to his music and not just say, "Oh, that's just like that's Tito music. That's Grandpa
Yeah.
Boomer
That's
music."
oldie. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's an
Exactly.
oldie.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something real there, because there's
Yeah.
a conversation worth having about why our generation reaches back, and why
Mm-hmm.
why two young adults from UC are talking about an artist who was at his peak before we were born. And I think part of
Yeah.
that is that some music is built so well that it just refuses to expire. And it just
Mm.
outlasts the era that it was made in. And it outlasts
Mm.
the controversy around the person who made it as well. It just stays.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
let's move on to this one, another question here, man. A personal question. When did you first feel MJ? Not just hear him, but feel him the first time you listened to him?
Probably when I bumped into that music video, the
Yeah.
Thriller music video, when that popped up in my FYP, in my For You
Mm-hmm.
page, man, I was like, "Ooh, what's this? What's this?" And at the time, I was scared of horror, of Thriller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Oh, I'm watching it. And I'm like, this is scary." But then I listened to the music. I listened to the beat. Man,
It's so
let me
catchy.
let me
Yeah.
tell you, it just captured me, and I
Mm-hmm.
was I was hooked. I was hooked right
From
right
the
from
get
that
go.
from the get go, from that bass line.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Oh my
Immediately, I was
gosh.
like, "Wow, this guy, Michael Jackson. I see, I see why people feel that way. I see why they love him, and I see
Yeah,
why."
right?
I'll go into a little tangent, but
Yes, man.
there's this quote that he made in the film. I don't know if he said it in real life, but this quote, um, when he was in the Beat It music video with the rival gangs,
Mm-hmm.
in LA, the Bloods and the Crips, he said, "Music and dance, it's a universal language.
It is.
We may not understand each other. I may not understand you when you're speaking in Ilocano. I
Mm-hmm.
may have a hard time with people speaking Tagalog, but
Yeah.
we all can get together, get a
Mm-hmm.
beat, and
Just tap your foot.
feel that
Yeah.
music. Exactly.
Click your
Feel that
hands.
music.
Yeah. Bob your head. Yeah. The
Bob your
universal
head,
language.
dance. It really
Yeah.
is. It really is. That hit me really, 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 like, wow. That is
Mm-hmm.
very true. Very, very true. You
Yeah.
don't need to understand me. I don't need to understand you. As long as we feel the beat, we gonna get it. We gonna get it.
Exactly. And I want to go somewhere broader here, because I think that this is actually the most interesting thing about who Ra and I as people. I'm 21 and he's 19, right? We
Yep.
both grew up on different music, different platforms, almost different everything. And yet we both have this, as you said before, this unity, this genuine love from music from way beyond our generation. Ra, where does that come from? Or for you, Ra? Why do you think some people chase that music from before our generation and some others just don't?
The timelessness. How music is so timeless. You can listen to a song from 1950, you can listen to a song from the 1960s, 70s,
Yeah.
the 80s. There's at least, I know for sure, there's at least one song that you're gonna go, this is good, and bop your head to.
Yeah, right.
There's no era where there isn't a good song. And that just shows how truly universal and how it transcends a lot of things, and it can also
Yeah.
influence a lot of things: politics,
Hmm.
government, people. Michael Jackson is just one of many, many, many artists who inspired a whole generation. Man. Michael
Yeah.
Jackson, Freddie Mercury, David Bowie.
David
I
Bowie.
can
Oh
go
man,
on and
don't get me
on.
started. Yeah,
I,
exactly.
my goodness, Pink Floyd. I can go on and
Oh my
on.
gosh, yeah, Pink Floyd.
Music, music is just so, it's beyond words. You
Exactly.
really, you can do your best to describe it, but you will never be able to to truly describe
Yeah.
it. That makes sense.
Yeah, man.
And
And
yeah.
do you think that, anyone in this day and age with
Mm.
today's audiences, today's media, today's music,
Mm.
do you think that they can ever match what MJ did? Can anyone be that? Or that era of, just the icon era just closed?
I feel I feel like though no one will ever be the next Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
there will be there will always be someone who takes that mantle of,
Hmm.
you are the top artist, but at the same time, it's difficult. You could say it's Taylor Swift. You could say it's The
Yeah.
Weeknd. You could say it's Drake. All these
Mhm.
massive artists, but when you really think about it, no one comes close to Michael Jackson. No one.
Right? I
No,
think you're just,
no artist.
yeah.
No one.
You're right. And, it's like a bittersweet thing to say because it's not an insult to today's artists. Don't get me
Not at
wrong,
all.
there's extraordinary music being made right now. But there's a difference between having a massive audience and just being inescapable. MJ was inescapable. When Thriller dropped, pop fans, rock fans, your titos, your lola, everyone was listening to the same thing at the same time. And, that kind of shared cultural moment is almost impossible now because we are all in our own algorithms, our own playlist, our own little bubble. And that attention is too divided. And it's not genuinely the artists that aren't there. It's the conditions for that kind of icon making that may be genuinely gone. And, maybe that's
That's
why that
exactly it.
film,
That's exactly
messy, sanitized, as critics say it, hits so hard because it reminds us of a time back then when music could do that, when only one person could make the entire world stop and listen, man. Hey,
exactly.
man, the last question. Forget MJ for a second. Forget about the
All right.
biopic, the streaming numbers, the discourse.
All
What do
right.
you want someone who's been listening to us this morning to actually walk away with? Not about MJ, about music.
Hmm. I feel that the number one thing to walk out of this
Hmm.
conversation that we're having, the one thing that I want people to know about music is that you don't have to love music. You don't
Hmm.
have to be this maestro, this master, this person who knows so much about it.
Yeah.
All you need to understand about music is that if there's no art, if
Mm.
there's no language, music will forever. It will forever. And I'll end with this.
Yeah.
There is a satellite or a spaceship, whatever, we sent up into space.
Voyager.
And one of the main things that's in there, a golden record. And that just shows that music is not just human, it transcends
us. Us ourselves.
You
We're getting philosophical here. I like that,
exactly,
man. Yeah.
Exactly. It transcends words, language. Exactly. Us. So yeah, if I could put it into one word, timeless. That's it.
Yes.
Timeless. It will never go old. It will never go out of style. Music will forever be timeless. That's it.
Yeah, man. I think that's just what music does, and I think that's worth protecting. You know, that's worth talking about, and that's worth this conversation on Cool 97.5. All right. Thank you so much, you know, genuinely for the ticket, for my Lola's smile, and, you know, being the kind of person you can call up and say, Tara, let's talk about music on the radio. And you just say yes. And also, thank you so much to Mr. G, our DJ anchor, and our professor, and being the kind of professor who calls up his first-year students and opens a door they didn't even know existed yet. Sir, we don't take that lightly. This has been The Songs That Stay. My name is Drew, and this is...
My name is R.A. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Sir G. Thank you, everybody.
And you've been listening to Cool 97.5 FM, Baguio City. And hey,